Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to Plugged In, the official podcast of VGCultureHQ. I'm Morgan, your host, and today we have with us our executive editor, Paul Lopez,
Hi everybody, how's it going today?
and we're going to talk about some of the latest gaming news. Um, we're gonna go over Nintendo, their latest announcement with the Switch OLED, the first half of their year, the upcoming second half of their year, and what we think of Skyward Sword HC, which we've been playing pretty much nonstop for the last week or so. So we have a really exciting episode for you. We're really glad to be coming back after after a year since our last episode, and we're going to continue with weekly episodes. But just before we jump into things, I want to remind everybody that we currently have a giveaway going on. It is you can win Skyward Sword HD, the Skyward Sword HD limited edition Joy-Cons, and the Zelda uh, Loftwing Amiibo, which is both those last two are extremely rare. So it's a really cool giveaway. We're really glad to be able to give back to our community. And so, we're gonna put the link in the description on how to enter, and you guys can go ahead and have at it. The more the merrier, and best of luck to everyone. But Paul, I guess we'll start out with what do you think of the news of the Switch OLED with the October 8th release?
Uh, kind of kind of mixed about it. It feels not like a big must-have system as a Switch owner already. It's kind of like the 3DS going to the new 3DS in a way. Like it
Hmm.
just adds a few upgrades for those that want it, but it's nothing that I'm gonna be like dying to go out for. Eventually, I want to pick one up, but it's interesting because of all the rumors that have been coming about.
Yeah, I think that like if anything, like it's cosmetic. There's nothing different internally about it. I think for those who play the Switch on the go a lot, they're gonna love the larger screen.
For
I
sure.
never play in handheld mode, to be honest. I always play docked on my TV because when I took my Switch out, one of the rare times I did, at E3, I got it stolen. So,
Oh man, yeah.
uh, you know, I don't trust myself to take my Switch out. But I love the white dock and I love the new stand that it
Yeah.
has. It's not as flimsy. And
Yeah, the
so
stuff's great.
so I might think about like picking it up at launch if I can. And who knows, guys? Maybe we'll have a giveaway. Maybe not. We'll see. So, it was actually really interesting. Bloomberg, you know about the rumors of the Switch Pro, and Bloomberg News came out saying like the Switch Pro is coming out definitely this year.
Yeah.
And Nintendo didn't really comment on that, but they came through after the Switch OLED announcement. Bloomberg came out and said, "Oh, well, Nintendo is going to be making more of a profit on the Switch OLED." And the official Nintendo corporate account, like, was that, which is a really big deal for them to actually come out and refute something outright, was like, "Nah, stop, stop, stop," and like refuted them as like fake news.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that they've been refuting these rumors because they never came out about all of the speculations in the Bloomberg articles before. And Bloomberg, I believe, were they the ones that talked about having a faster processor, upscaling the dock?
Yeah, and 4K,
Yeah,
all
so
this stuff.
Yeah, Bloomberg has come out before and said, you know what, this is going to be a big upgrade for Switch owners, a must-have, and then OLEDs announced, and that's really it. But they never refuted those, so it's interesting to see why they would even do that.
Yeah, I think that Nintendo has just kind of gotten fed up with and there could be like people within the company, and this is what some companies do, is that they give certain people like fake information,
Yeah,
and then those people will leak the information, and then they'll know exactly who leaked it, and they'll fire them, like get rid of them and sue the heck out of them, sue the hell out of them because they're breaking an NDA that they signed.
yeah,
um, it's but the fact that they came out outright on their Twitter, like their business Twitter corporate account in Japanese and English, I believe, I know it was definitely in English, I believe in Japanese as well, and was just like, this is not true. We're not like basically the attitude of we are not having any of this anymore from Bloomberg's reporting.
yeah. They're definitely fed up. I agree. I think it could have been some sort of corporate kind of plot to, not like sinister, but just to kind of weed out the leakers because there had been so many leaks for a
Oh,
long time now, and it's been ridiculous hearing about the Switch Pro and all of that stuff. So I
I
think that I
actually like I don't advertise this, but and I do have the proof to back it up. But I had someone 1 hour before the February Nintendo Direct come to me and tell me, okay, they're going to announce Skyward Sword HD and Age of Calamity DLC. And I was like, interesting, okay, let's see if it happens. Well, they opened up with the trailer of once they got to it, and they did the Age of Calamity DLC trailer. I was like, and talked about, I was like, huh, interesting. Then they showed Skyward Sword HD, and I was like, I mean, I have personally been writing about it for 4 years, wanting it to happen.
yeah, it's
So
been on the site
I
for a
had a
while.
little bit of a tear in my eye but you know, there are those leakers. I don't personally leak things that come directly to me. Not that I have a ton of sources. I don't. But I just think it's in bad taste, and it's bad for business because then a company is not going to want to work with you because you're revealing their secrets. It's not their trade secrets. It's not about journalistic integrity. I mean, we've been doing this for quite a while and been a team for the last like 3 or 4 years. And you know, it's it's hard to know when to report on a leak and when not to.
Yeah,
I try not I wouldn't report I just wouldn't report on the Bloomberg uh 4K like the Switch Pro stuff because I didn't buy into it. We've been
yeah,
hearing Switch Pro, Switch Pro, Switch Pro for years and it's never
constantly.
happened.
And it was always too good to be true. Everyone wanted the 4K. Everyone wanted it to be like the next Xbox One X or PS5. But it was just it's hard to buy into because Nintendo's never really been about power. I mean, yes, with the Super Nintendo, but not not lately in the past in the modern era. So
No,
yeah,
we actually have an article on the site where it was one of our top uh, articles like traffic wise, which is Nintendo proves that power doesn't matter. And I
yeah,
think
no,
in many respects that's true. They've shown through sales, through their games, that sheer power of a machine is not what makes a great gaming console.
yeah,
So very interesting. We'll see how the Switch OLED does. Um, I think eventually it will phase out the original Switch model,
yes,
but which is okay. But you know, uh, it's great for people who play it on the go and want that larger screen because I know, uh, heck, if I were to get it, I might just play it like portably more often than I
Yeah.
do on mine currently. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it does over the holiday season, to see if customers are really going out of their way to adopt the new system or how it's going to be, because I think it is going to be like that 3DS situation where you'll have the more hardcore fans picking up the new system and newer
yeah,
customers, but I don't know if it's going to be that immediate jump on to get the next console because it's not that huge of an upgrade to make you want to run out to the store and get it.
yeah, no, definitely, I hear you. I agree completely. What I'm interested to see is if like my local Walmart, if like because or the Walmart where my parents are, if because I'm not going to be here any longer, um, probably in October, but we'll see if stores actually get stock because right now this place is in the middle of nowhere. They actually got stock of the Skyward Sword HD Joy-Cons, and
That's
they got at
incredible.
least like 20 pairs. But even here in the middle of nowhere, in like 3 days, they were all sold out.
Yeah,
Um,
they can meet the demand. I know they have the potential. I remember when the Switch launched, they were flying systems out to stores and distribution centers, but it'll be interesting to see how much that they do ship and how fast they fly off the shelves. There's no doubt I think they'll sell out for the first week, but just
yeah,
how much that trickle out throughout the quarter.
to see if they'll be able to sustain that throughout
Definitely.
the holidays. But it's launching with on the same day as Metroid Dread
Okay.
and Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, which I'm actually like I'm looking forward to that game. I
Hey,
love Super Monkey Ball, but
that's a killer app. It's a killer app, man.
but but no, Metroid launching with Metroid Dread, that's I mean that's a really smart like business decision and that kind of like can
Yeah.
segue into the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is, you know, let's look at Nintendo and their first half and their first the first half of the year and their second half of the year.
Yeah,
Now, if now to everybody who might be saying, "Oh, why aren't you talking about Sony and Microsoft?" Well, Sony and Microsoft haven't come out with anything. There's like no news concerning them. Um, so unfortunately, there's nothing that really can be said except for you can't find their consoles anywhere. So,
yeah, for sure.
and Nintendo is really, I think, kicking ass and taking names right now, and so it's uh it's very interesting. You look at Nintendo's first half of the year. You have really they started out with Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury plus Bowser's Fury. Um, which originally I heard that was delayed, I think, or the rumor was that was delayed because it was supposed to be a part of, it was supposed to release in the holiday of 2020 for Mario's 35th, but
Uh,
it got delayed because COVID and whatnot. Um, but just like, and this is in no like order of the games of the game's release dates. So I have them written down here. You got Bravely Default 2, which I have. That's fantastic. Um, Skyward Sword HD, which we're counting among the games in the first half of the year because that's the way Nintendo marketed it with their um, with the Nintendo Direct in February, where they showed off all the games for the first half of the year. Um, Mario Golf Super Rush, Monster Hunter Rise, which I'm not a Monster Hunter fan per se, but that's huge and was huge in Japan and in the United States.
Yeah. Still doing very well too, with tons of amiibos and everything coming out for it.
Yeah. Then you got just recently, I think it was last week, you have Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, which again, another Monster Hunter game, which is doing very well from what I've heard. I haven't seen the numbers, but yeah, Pokemon Snap, part of Pokemon's 25th anniversary. Can't go wrong, Pokemon. There
Definitely.
is the free to play Pokemon Unite, which just came out, I believe. You're more of a Pokemon person, so you'll know. Like, when did that come out?
I want to say it came out Wednesday. It came out just last week. It's a really new
Okay.
game, MOBA. So if you like League of Legends, Pokemon, definitely check that one out.
Um, then you also have this is a timed exclusive, but an RPG, Disgaea 6, which maybe isn't so well known, but it's a big deal in Japan. It was one of their most anticipated games, so um, it's exclusive right now, so it goes on the list of their first uh, their first half exclusives that have come to the console. Um, and I believe that I don't believe I've missed anything major.
I
Um,
don't. So I want to say that's everything.
it's hard to compile like a list of everything that like Nintendo's coming out with because they're coming out with so much and they're
Yeah,
doing like in my opinion a really good job. But so what do you think of their lineup for the first half of the year?
I think it's a good lineup. It's you know it's nothing that's super like that's gonna blow you away. That they save that for fall and winter season, but it's enough to really stand out and um, still show support to the system that fans are
Yeah.
gonna want to go out pick up some games because Xbox and PlayStation they haven't really done that. I mean, there's a few games. I think Returnal is one of the big ones that came out. Mass Effect trilogy. Those are just some that are off the top of my
Oh,
heads, but
I did get that Mass Effect trilogy. It is absolutely fantastic. So anyone watching, highly recommend picking it up because
yeah.
like
If you
it
haven't played those games, you need to. Must
yeah,
plays.
if you haven't played it, play it. It is one of the all-time greats and it's the definitive version of Mass Effect. Even if in Mass Effect 2 they took away the shots of Miranda's ass, which I'm still kind of sad about, but I always romance Miranda. So and I used to have like a huge crush on Yvonne Strahovski, she was in Dexter as well, but did the she basically did the motion capture and the voice um for Miranda. So um I think that Nintendo like their lineup for the first half of the year is really solid. It didn't like blow me away per se because I'm not like Monster Hunter. Those games are like God, you have some hardcore Monster Hunter people, right?
Oh yeah,
So
huge
if you
community of
love
fans.
Monster Hunter, if you love like well Super Mario 3D World, that was
Yeah,
somewhat popular. That's not I didn't pick it up because it's just not my thing. Um in terms of Mario. But Mario Golf Super Rush, that was fun. Bravely Default 2, if you like Japanese RPGs, is fantastic. But I think the way Nintendo ended the first half of the year by releasing Skyward Sword HD really capped off with capping things off with that. Um, what a way to end the first half of the year because Skyward Sword HD, in my opinion, is fantastic and one of the best games to be released this year. And that's
Yeah, it's
my
a for
not so
sure.
humble opinion.
Um, oh, it's a fine first half. Nothing crazy spectacular. I know as someone who does like Pokemon a lot, it's Pokemon Snap. The price point was too much for me, so that's why I didn't pick it up. For the full 60.
Hmm.
Super Mario 3D World. I feel, it might have been justified for the 60, but these remakes and these shorter games, I feel if they release at $40, I think you're selling a lot more copies and it's making more people wanting to rush out to the stores and to play them. But, they're selling well, so I can't really
I
knock them too much.
I do not disagree. The only game that I like HD remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, that I think justifies the $60 price point is Skyward Sword HD. Though then again, I bought it at Walmart for $50 because they sell everything for $10 cheaper. But
Yeah,
no, there are so many people who have not played that game, and they're tapping the marketing job too, the marketing campaign that Nintendo did, and the way that they pushed Skyward Sword HD was fantastic. I was like, I was really surprised the way they were pushing it on Twitter and social media, and they're doing a really, uh, how do I want to put it? They're really putting it at the forefront, more so than any other game they've marketed and they've come out with this year. Skyward Sword HD, they are still marketing, even a week and a half after release, on their Twitter accounts. So,
yeah. Skyward Sword HD is all over the place, and I think that's for sure their flagship of the year so far. Because the other ones, they are flagships. They did have their fair share of advertising, but I think Skyward Sword's it's their baby right now, and they're gonna continue
yeah,
advertising as the amiibos start to get shipped more and things become more in stock because this is the game of the summer.
it definitely is like a game of the summer, period. Not just Nintendo, but among all companies. It is the game of the summer. And in my opinion, it's a must have. I went into it, I was very excited, but you know, there are some quality of life stuff from the original that just it needed to be fixed. And they did a really good job fixing the game up. They even added button controls for those who wanted to play it without the motion controls. Um, you know, they some people felt that $60 wasn't justified because it already released 10 years ago. Actually, almost 10 years ago, exactly. But I think with all of the changes, the amount of replayability the game has, because once you beat it, there's a harder mode to play um, that you can continue on with your file. And it's it can be anywhere between a 40 and 80-hour game depending on how much you do. So that being said, I think $60 to me is justified, but I'll admit to everybody who's watching and to you, Paul, that I'm biased because I love it. It's uh it's one of my favorite games of all time. And I mean, I got this right here. I just got my Zelda amiibo actually shipped on time, surprisingly. I just got
Yeah,
it
no,
yesterday.
The
But
price point I think is fine for a big game like Skyward Sword, where, like you said, it has a huge quality of life change. The motion controls are a lot better and under control. I'm just starting to play for my first playthrough, and I can't imagine how it was back on the Wii without the um, quick remapping. But for games like, Mario 3D World, where really all that's being added is the Bowser's Fury, or you look back at probably the worst example was Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and these are
yes,
releasing at $60, and it's like, all right, these aren't. What are you really adding to justify this price point? And you know, Pokemon Snap, I'll get on it just a little bit because it is a shorter game. It does have a lot of replayability, and I can see a $60, but just that story is very short, and these
yeah.
the original Pokemon Snap was only like a 45 minute to an hour game just on your
Oh
first
wow,
playthrough.
yeah.
So it's like $60 is a bit steep. I do enjoy short playthrough games, so
Hmm.
I'm fine with playing a short game, but at $60 it does beg the question if this should be the price point going forward for the
Yeah.
shorter release.
Wait for it to go on sale on Amazon. That's what I do with games that I feel are too expensive at launch. But so we can like move on just for a second because we'll get into Zelda a little bit more. Um, but for the second half of the year for Nintendo, what they have upcoming, they have Neo: The World Ends with You, that comes out July 27th. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles comes out July 27th as well. You have Metroid Dread that comes out October 8th. That's
That
enormous. That's huge. That's a game changer for Nintendo, and that's an even bigger, in my opinion, bigger than say Metroid Prime 4. And also to everyone, these are in no particular order with regards to release date. It's just a list that's been compiled. Um, yeah, Mario Party Superstars, kind of not well. Actually, it actually looks pretty cool and online from the get go. That's nice. And that's October 28th. Then we have WarioWare Get It Together on September
yeah,
8th. I
huge.
thought Nintendo should have launched with the WarioWare game on the Switch because it's just so wacky and the mini games and it's a perfect party game.
It would have been way
Um,
better than 1-2 Switch. Tell you that.
oh God, that was awful. And then we have, I'm just smiling here, Shin Megami Tensei 5 that launches on November 12th. You have Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania October 8th. No More Heroes 3 launches finally on August 27th from Suda51. That's really highly anticipated. Not a first party game, but I don't think it's first party, but exclusive to
I,
Switch. No, not a
yeah,
first party game. It's not. Um, and then you have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl launching on November 19th. And we have no idea if Nintendo is going to dead drop any games in the meantime, if they have any plans for any December releases. So,
uh, for
what did.
December, it's only Advance Wars 1 and 2,
Oh,
from what
I
I.
forgot about that. Yes, Advance Wars 1 and 2, which is so cool that they're releasing that. I am
Big.
definitely going to pick that up
That's a must
because I
must
had
pick.
the originals on the Game Boy Advance and they were so much fun. Um, so compared to Nintendo's first half, what do you think about their second half?
My God, it blows it out of the water. There you look at their lineup, and we only went over really the first party games. There's even some big third party games coming to the system
Yeah,
that it's like,
these are just exclusives that are
yeah,
coming uh to Switch, and for the most part, what
there's it.
what I was able to just like off the top of my head, like compile.
Huge lineup. This is Nintendo back at their best form. 2020. I'm trying to think what their biggest release was. All that's coming to mind right now is the Mario 3D All-Star Collection.
That
Uh,
was, I believe, that was like their big game of the holiday,
yeah, that
which
was the
is
holiday
kind of
game.
sad.
Yeah, I mean it's a good collection, but it's
It
this
is.
year it completely blows it out of the wall. Metroid Dread. I'm a big Pokemon fan, so like I said previously, so Diamond and Pearl remakes, huge. Um, it's
And those will
I
sell
could fabricate
systems.
title. Oh, for sure. The big system sellers. I think Metroid Dread is, like you said, it can be bigger than Prime 4 because it's 2D. It's Metroid tr tried and true back to its form, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be that's gonna be a huge game. It's a good lineup of games coming out. It's something that's gonna hurt the wallet a bit, but
Yeah, it
it's
definitely will. The one game personally that I'm really excited about is Shin Megami Tensei 5. Um, I had Shin Megami Tensei 4 on on the 3DS, and it was like um my first experience with the franchise, and it was really really good. I loved it. And when like Shin Megami Tensei 5, they revealed that at the Switch reveal. They showed it in the trailer.
that
But
yeah, it's been a long time coming.
there were rumors that like the game was canceled and Atlas had to come out and say, "No, no, 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 it's not canceled. We're still working on it. It's still alive and well." But it's I mean that game is I think is going to be huge. I actually had trouble um I ended up getting it. But I had to go through some hoops in order to get the special edition of the game pre-ordered. I actually had to go. GameStop was getting so many pre-orders that they were like, okay, we're not doing online pre-orders anymore. You have to come in store.
Oh,
You have to pay the entire cost up front,
oh,
and we'll do a web order for you. So basically, an online pre-order in the store,
wow.
and you
I
have to
mean,
pay for it all up front.
yeah, it's insane. The Shin Megami Tensei is gonna be I it might I don't know. I can't use the word sleeper hit because it's gonna be huge. Persona 5 is was huge, massive game. So
And
Shin Megami Tensei is gonna
a
be
lot of people don't realize that Shin Megami Tensei, that Persona, is a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. So the two are connected, and um, I think that Shin Megami Tensei 5 will be the surprise game for the Switch. Um,
yeah, that's a
I
great way
think
of putting
that
it. It's gonna
I
be
think
a
that
great
quality-wise, it's going to like it's going to be great. But I think sales-wise, it's going to be much bigger than people think. It's going to put up some very, very good numbers. And so I'm really excited about that, to see how it does and see how this second half of the year does compared to the first. And I think that Skyward Sword HD launching, really ending the first half of the year, releasing on July what 16th? Yeah, July 16th. And then and then now you have their second half of the year lineup coming up. And I think like momentum wise, it's a great way to build momentum into the second half of the year. And you got to give Nintendo credit for having that kind of foresight and
that
um for really uh going forward with going from Zelda and all these incredible games that are coming out for their second half, because I mean, I look at these games and it's not even everything, and it blows my mind away. But
Yeah,
so your most anticipated game for second half uh of 2021 for Nintendo? Go.
man, it's tough, but I gotta go Metroid Dread. It's gonna be one of the best return to forms that the franchise has seen. It's been too long. I mean, the last big release was Metroid 2 remake, Samus Returns. So that was on the 3DS, end of its life cycle, and before that it was Federation Force. So, I mean, Metroid's long overdue. It's gonna be.
Federation Force. I
Yeah,
remember when that was revealed and it got downvoted so hard. I was at E3
absolutely.
that year it got revealed and everyone was just like, "Are you serious?"
I
But
yeah, I have no clue what they were thinking there, but you know what?
much better leadership now, thankfully.
Yes, for sure.
I'm gonna have to go with Shin Megami Tensei 5, personally. I'm excited for Metroid Dread, even though I'm not a huge Metroid fan, but I think that Metroid Dread just looks so good. Um, I could go with Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, but Shin
Biggest third
Megami
party?
Tensei 5 beats it out just by a hair. No, but yeah, no, Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm really excited, and they're already starting the marketing. They're releasing daily demons, um, kind of the way in Super Smash Brothers they release, like for the Wii U, they would release a new like they'd show off like a new like stage or new something every day,
Got it.
or not every day, but maybe every week. But now, like every day, they're showing off like a new demon or a new aspect of the game, which I
Yeah,
find to be very interesting. That they're
that is.
already marketing this game so early before its release.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that game's gonna be massive, and I know that it's touted as an adult Pokemon, so it's interesting to see that it's releasing in the same month as Pokemon Remake. So I know there's gonna be some double dipping with these two titles.
yeah, we actually have an article from before you came on that I wrote, which is, Shin Megami Tensei is the adult Pokemon, the adult version of Pokemon, which I think kind of rings true in many respects.
Yeah, I'm excited to
Um,
try it out. I never played a Shin
yeah,
Megami Tensei, but I played Persona, so I'm
yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
For for Nintendo's first half of the year, what what have you enjoyed the most from what you've played? And it doesn't have to be like just in general of what you've gotten. What have you enjoyed the most?
I've I'm loving Skyward Sword. That's gotta be up there. I'm waiting next week for Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. That's been something I've been
Yeah,
clamoring for, getting that localized. So I'm gonna go pick that one up. So when that is out, that is gonna be something I'm gonna play a lot. But right now, I have to go Skyward Sword. Game's amazing.
yeah. So with that's like a great segue to what we're gonna talk about next for the rest of our time is Skyward Sword HD. Now, I played it on the Wii. I beat it probably at least 10 times. You're playing it for the very first time.
Yeah.
So our experiences are very different. So what are your impressions of the game? Like, one, how far are you in the game? And
So
two, um, what are your overall like impressions up to this point?
yeah, no. I absolutely love this game. I've played a lot of the Legend of Zeldas, and nothing has made me feel like I'm actually Link than this one. The combat is incredible. Playing with the sword is great. I just paused the game before we got on for the podcast, and I am at a part in the first dungeon where I'm facing some spiders, and they're pissing me off. So that's where I am right now. But it's fantastic. This game is one of the best I've played so far for in the Zelda franchise, and I'm excited to see where it goes next.
Yeah, one of the interesting things for like you said, like this is the first Zelda game that you've played that you felt like you were actually like
Yeah,
Link,
no, for sure.
right?
Yeah,
That's one of the things like when I first played the game, right? This is 2011 and I got it, and this is like my experience all the way through. I was like, not just the controls, but in every aspect of this game, I felt like I was Link. Like
yeah,
it wasn't I couldn't separate myself from Link. I was on screen playing.
yeah,
Or not playing, but doing what I was doing. Um it's a very and that's so rare in gaming to have an experience
yeah,
you are where you are uh where so immersive.
for sure.
And
It's
it's immersive
incredible.
in both the controls and in the story is really good and the characters and it's I felt like playing the game that what Link felt like the emotions that Link like expresses that I felt like I was Link. And
Yeah,
so that is really a really special and unique thing. And
yeah.
I also think that there is a reason why Nintendo decided to remake of all games Skyward Sword HD. And if you look at E3, the trailer for what's it called? Breath of the Wild 2,
But
you're returning to the sky.
that was an
So
interesting phrase that they used. Definitely,
so
knowing that Skyward Sword's on the way.
so I am interested to know, are we getting a kind of quasi sequel to Skyward Sword? And we're not going to spoil anything for anyone, and I'm definitely not going to spoil anything for Paul regarding the game and
Thank
what
you.
direction it takes with the story. But you have to wonder, like Nintendo has a reason for everything that they do, and it's very calculated. So are they is it are they ah lost my train of thought for a second. Are they going for are they doing this to build up to Breath of the Wild 2, which is coming out in 2022? And I'm hoping it's going to be like March 2022 because that would be 4 years exact or 5 years exactly since the first Breath of the Wild came out. So it's going to
You
be
know,
very interesting. But
it
I
will be.
love the controls, like the motion controls this time around. They're so precise. And one of the things that's really cool is that with the Y button, the gyro controls, you can reset it. Like you can reset everything so easily. You don't have to recalibrate all the time anymore. And I never really had a major problem recalibrating, but sometimes I'd have to unplug my Joy-Con and plug it back in, set my Wii remote on a flat surface, let it recalibrate, and then start playing. Now,
Oh
does
man.
that sound like kind of a some people got pretty pissed, and
Yeah, I
I can understand why they were frustrated with the game. But this time around, it's not like that. And like you can reset the position of the curse of like you have Link's sword out, and it's not just like you've gotten to the point where you have the slingshot. You pull the slingshot out, and maybe it's not centered. You press Y, instantly centered.
yeah.
Well, you have Link's sword out. It's not centered or where it needs to be. You just point at the center of the screen, press Y, it's right there. Or You can even just be walking around and have your sword sheathed, press Y, and everything is reset. And I think that's one of the best quality of life improvements in the game.
Yeah, just from my experience, I usually struggled with the slingshot trying to get that centered, and so it's so simple just to press the Y button and then everything's back to normal. If you're running into an issue fighting one of the plants with how to strike it, you could just press Y. It's great controls, great recalibration. I honestly can't imagine doing how you said you'd have to put the remote down to kind of recalibrate everything
Yeah.
back to normal, but it's great so far. So definitely check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, the game is really fantastic. I've beaten it, but I had to rush through it in order to do our review, and now I'm doing another playthrough to capture footage for our walkthrough, which is on our YouTube channel. We have 8 parts up. We're about to go to the fourth dungeon. So if you're stuck in the game, or you just want to watch a quick playthrough of the game, we're not doing a 100% playthrough. We're just doing a basic walkthrough of the game. And so if you want to check that out, you're more than welcome to. It's just youtube.com/VGCultureHQ, because we did manage to get the personalized URL, which I was very proud of. But
Nice.
that was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so with with that, so we're gonna also, I'm hoping maybe next week I'm gonna stream some Skyward Sword HD in hero mode, um, and get on Twitch. Our Twitch handle is VGCultureHQ, so you can come join us, hang out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, you know, we are, this is the game so far of the year, and of all, like, one, my game of the year, my favorite game this year, my in my opinion, the biggest game this year, other than the Mass Effect trilogy uh,
For sure.
remaster that came out. There are not very many. There aren't very many. There haven't been very many titles to come out this year, so
No, it really
this is
hasn't.
kind of like, this is prime time, and so we're gonna have a blast playing it, and you know, come hang out, check out the YouTube. Um, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. Um, uh, you know, we're excited to continue to continue with our podcast and relaunching it. Our first episode, we had Jackie Lastra, voice actress, and we hope to have her on again because she is just awesome and she is fantastic. Such a talented young voice actress. So we want to have her on again. Uh, she's a friend of the site. But we're going to have episodes either weekly or maybe sometimes bi weekly. This week, we're going to have 2 episodes this week. But we're going to move to a model of having 1 episode per week. And we're really excited about being able to, launch this and have the ability to do this, because in the past we didn't really have it, but now we do, and we're just gonna keep on keeping on, in the words of Joe Dirt. So with that being said, and also, again, in the description, I'm gonna put Paul's Twitter handle, our site Twitter handle, because I don't use my personal Twitter handle anymore. And then we're on TikTok, We're on Facebook, like I said, Twitter, and I believe those are all the platforms we're on. But
I
also leave a description on how to enter the giveaway. The giveaway is, it's right now, it's not about how many people we get to enter. We just want to give back to our community, and it's a great way to do that. And we just want it to get it out to, you know, we want you guys to enter because we want you to have the opportunity to be able to get these awesome, awesome, awesome items, which I have personally, and I love them to death. So,
definitely
with that being
check those
said,
out.
Paul, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make?
No, just pleasure being on today, and everyone go check out those social handles. You can follow me on Twitter. I talk a lot about Funko Pops, comic books, and games. So if you're into that, then check me out. But yeah,
We'll
thanks
have
for having
to
me on.
we'll have to have you on to talk about some Marvel stuff soon,
For sure. I'm happy to.
because I know there's WandaVision and now Loki just ended,
Oh yeah, huge.
and they came
Really
out with.
into Marvel, so
Mhm.
yeah, really into Marvel. I just finished the Black Widow movie. I saw that a couple weeks back. So a lot to say
Very
about
cool.
where Marvel's headed.
Yeah, definitely. We're really interested to hear or I'm very interested to hear the site. Well, you're part of the site, so saying we is redundant. I'm very excited to hear what you think. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in and tuning into the podcast, Plugged In, where we plug you into the latest in video game culture. It's been a pleasure, and we will see you next week
Bye,
or
everyone. Have a
later this week. All right. So everyone have a great, great first half of your week, and we'll see you soon.